Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video we are doing a full-on full French acrylic nail design. I kind of threw a little bit of everything into this, so we've got acrylics, foils, glitters, and then we're going to finish off with a little bit of stamping, so I hope you all enjoy watching. Now, to start off with, I am using the Diamond Nail Supplies acrylic system, and I'm coming in, I believe this colour is called Sassy, but I will double check and leave it linked in the description box below. But it is a gorgeous peachy pink kind of nude acrylic shade, but it has a really pretty gold shimmer in it, so I absolutely love it when you want something a little bit extra. And as you can see, I'm starting out with this first bead of acrylic of creating my extended nail bed smile line shape. So I placed that bead of acrylic down, I've patted out the sides, and then I'm just using the sides of my brush to create the shape I want for my smile line. And I'm trying to get that as neat as I can with my brush, but I will file it crisp further along in the video. Then I'm going to come in with my second bead of acrylic. I'm placing this bead of acrylic down at that cuticle and apex area, tapping it up into the cuticle, and then leaving the bulk of it where I've placed it down, just bringing the top of that bead of acrylic down to build up the rest of the nail. I'm leaving the bulk of it there in that back third of the nail, as this is a core powder, so it doesn't have to be encapsulated. So at this point I'm trying to build up the strength and structure of that part of the nail. So this is where you want your apex to be, so I'm leaving the bulk of the product there to create that apex, just trying to blend it in all nicely down at the cuticle area. Now here I'm just checking the nail from all angles and making sure I'm happy with how well it's built up, and I did feel as though it was a little bit thin in certain areas, and down towards the very tip part of that smile line I needed a little bit more product. So I'm coming in with another small bead of acrylic and I'm kind of just bringing this over the entire nail, just because I wanted everything to be a little bit more even and I wanted a little bit more thickness at that very wall of acrylic, so that I'll be able to file that into a nice crisp shape. So just come over with another small bead of acrylic here to do this, and then as you can see I'm patting it out so it's nice and even, and then it's going to reduce our finished filing at the end of the nail. Then after leaving this to set for a couple of minutes, I'm taking the 100 grit side of my file, and as you can see I'm just filing right up against that smile line. So I'm keeping my file flat against that smile line to create a nice crisp shape. I have created a lot of the shape with my brush, so I'm basically just making it look a lot more sharper and making sure that both sides are as even as I can get them. I did then come over the surface of the smile line. Now I don't always do this, I just felt as though my application was a little bit uneven and I wanted to make sure everything was as perfect as I could get it. So I'm just coming over the surface, just because if you debulk your surface a little bit you are also able to get nice sharp crisp sidewalls. And then I'm going to come in and give the nail a good clean. So I'm using a nail brush and I have sprayed on some alcohol on this, just so I can give the nail a really good scrub and remove all of that dust from both the surface and underneath the nail. I'm going for a glass clear tip design, so I want to make sure that I have removed everything so that we've got a nice crystal clear tip. Then once I had finished cleaning that away, I want to apply my foils to the very tip of the nail. So I'm coming in with my Kiki London foil gel and I'm just applying a thin layer of this to the tip of the nail. We're then going to pop this in to cure for 30 seconds, and whilst that was curing I've cut out some foils. These are also available from Kiki London. I believe this is their floral mix, and they come in, I think you get 8 different designs, or maybe it's 10 different designs in the box, and they're all different color floral foils, so they're super pretty. I went for the orange ones, and as you can see I'm just pressing them down onto that cured foil gel. I give them a good rub and then I'll just peel that foil back. Now it is a little bit trickier to do just a small part of a foil nail like this. Usually if I'm doing a full nail I find it a little bit easier, but where we're just working on a small part of the nail, it is a little bit trickier, so I'm taking my time to give it a good rub before I peel back my foil. And I really loved how this looked. Like, you could keep this quite simple and just encapsulate at this point, but I did want to add on some glitter. But before adding that on, I want to seal in my top coat so that my monomer doesn't, I want to seal in my foil with my top coat so that my monomer doesn't break down the foils. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over the top with just a thin layer of the Kiki London top coat. Now I'm just doing this because sometimes, it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes when your monomer touches the foil it will work a bit like acetone will work. and it will start breaking down the image. And because I wanted to come in and apply some glitter, I knew that I would be touching the foils quite a bit with my brush, so that's why I've protected them with the top coat. Then using a teeny tiny bead of clear acrylic, I've picked up some of these tiny gold glitter pieces, and I'm just kind of scattering them around the flowers. I don't want to overtake the nail too much, but I didn't want there to be too much clear space. I wanted there to be a little bit of sparkle here and there. So just using my wet brush and a little bit of acrylic, I'm moving them around into place, and I'm just playing about with them until I'm happy with how they're all placed. I liked having the glitters running along the smile line and then in between those flowers. I thought it just added a little bit of an extra touch. So I'm just tapping these on here and there, and then once I am happy with how the gold glitters are all placed, I'm going to come in with a couple of these glitter sequins as well. These are little leaf shape sequins. I can't remember where I got these from. I used them in one of my previous videos, but you can pick these up from literally anywhere. And again, I'm just placing down a small bead of clear acrylic just to hold those little leaves in place. So I just popped down 2. I didn't want to add too many on because I didn't want to cover up the flowers too much. I'm really pressing them down into the clear acrylic, and then I will leave that to set so that these don't move around when it comes to encapsulating. I just thought they added a little something extra. I'm really loving all of the full nail art, whether it be with gel polish, acrylics, stamping. I'm really enjoying doing it all. So I hope you are enjoying all of the videos. Of course, I do upload over on the Kiki London YouTube channel as well, so do check that out if you want to watch more of my videos. So now I'm just going to leave that acrylic to set, and then once that has set, I'm going to come in and encapsulate the tip of the nail. So to encapsulate, I'm using my Diamond Nail Supplies Clarity Clear Acrylic. I've placed down a medium to large bead of acrylic, and I'm kind of just taking this down the sides a little bit. I'm not stressing if it goes over the nude acrylic because we can file off the excess. I'm just focusing on getting all of that tip of the nail encapsulated. So I'm walking that bead down towards the tip of the nail. And when I'm walking this bead of acrylic down towards the tip of the nail, I'm not thinning it out too much because you've got to bear in mind that we do need to build up the tip of the nail. We've only got our tip down and a layer of foil gel and foils. We've not got no structure or strength built. So that is exactly what I'm doing here when I'm encapsulating. I'm building up all of that thickness, all of the structure and the strength. Now I did build it up a little bit too much. At the end of the acrylic application, it did look a little bit more bulky than what I would have wanted, but it was something that we could fix up with filing, so I wasn't too stressed. Now once I had built up the tip of the nail, I'm just checking that right down in the wings of that nail, so right down where the smile line goes down quite deep, you need to make sure that you fully encapsulate these areas as well. These can be your stress points, so you want to make sure that you've built up your thickness and your structure there as well. Otherwise you'll get a breakage there. And also if you don't come in and encapsulate here, you're going to file off all of that glitter that you've applied when it comes to filing as well. So I do always like to make sure that I have really got down into the wings of the smile line whenever I'm doing a smile line or French design. And then as you can see here, we've now got everything fully encapsulated. So off camera I allowed this to set, and then we're going to come in and file. So again, I'm using my 100 grit side of my file. I'm starting off by filing underneath and just cleaning up any acrylic that's gone over the edges of the nail, and then I'm going to debulk the nail. Like I said, I'd built this up a little bit thicker than what I would have wanted, so I'm taking that 100 grit side of my file and I'm basically going over the entire nail, focusing on any areas where there's any unwanted bulkiness or thickness. Usually I would do this with my e-file because it's a lot quicker than hand filing, but I hadn't charged my e-file, so I thought I'd just do it all with my hand file. And because I know a lot of people don't always use an e-file as well, and it is completely possible to do it with your hand file, it just takes a little bit longer. But all I'm basically doing, like I said, is I'm going up one side over the surface of the nail and then down the other side, and at all times I'm checking the nail to make sure that I'm happy with how much I'm filing off. You don't want to overfile and end up with any areas too thin, so I'm always checking. You can't really tell that in the video because it has been sped up, but I'm always stopping for a second or two, checking the nail before I come in and start filing again. Then what I'm going to do is once I've debulked, I'm going to move on to shaping the nail. So I'm going to come in and shape the tip of the nail. I kind of flat file the tip, and then I'm coming in and shaping the sidewalls. I always prefer to shape after I've debulked, because I find that if you've got any bulkiness to the nail, it's going to ruin the shape anyway. So you might as well debulk first and then do your shaping. And to shape, I'm just kind of following the shape that I'd created with my tip anyway. The tip I had was the shape that I wanted. Obviously, it's just lost its shape a little bit when we've applied our acrylic. So I'm keeping with that shape. And then once I have finished all of the filing, I'm going to come in and buff. So I'm buffing just to remove a lot of the deep scratches that filing leaves. So I start off with the 100 grit side of my buffer, and then I will flip it over and go over with the 180 grit side of my buffer, just to get a nice smooth finish, especially when you're doing these clear glass tip nails. You don't want to see any scratches in the nail. And then I gave this a really, really good scrub with my brush and some alcohol to remove all of that dust. And then before finishing, I do want to come in with just a touch of stamping. So I'm taking my Miss Lucy Autumn Leaves stamping plate. I did a video using this a lot more up on my channel recently, so do check that out. But I'm absolutely loving the Miss Lucy stamping plates, and she's just released her autumn collection, and I am loving this one especially. So I had to get it in this design as well. I'm just going to add on a few simple leaves, going with the same kind of colours that we used in the acrylic design. So I went for an orange and a gold. As you see, both of the gel polishes I'm using are from Born Pretty. I find these a really great affordable stamping polish to use. So we're going to place down an orange leaf right in the center there, just off center, sorry, but in the middle, and then we're going to come in with 2 gold ones at the side. So I'm going to give my plate a good clean using some acetone. From using that first image, you're going to have some polish down on your plate, so make sure you give it a good scrub. Then I just want to stamp on 2 more leaves either side of that orange one. So I'm applying a generous amount of stamping polish to my plate and giving it a scrape. Then with a quick flick of the wrist and a roll of my jelly stamper, I'm going to pick up those images. Then just taking my lint roller and cleaning off any images that I don't want to stamp down. So any pieces that I've picked up that I don't want on the nail. And then I'm just going to stamp down both of these leaves either side. Luckily, I'd picked them up kind of with a good positioning that I could use both of them without having to go in and re-pick up an image. So just I like to give my stamper a little press and a little wriggle, and as you can see, they stamped down beautifully. At this point, I was looking at this design like, wow, it's got a lot going on, but it was really, really fun to do. Maybe it just looks a little bit over the top. But we're going to finish off with the Kiki London No Wipe top coat. So I'm just going to apply a thin layer of this to all of the nail, and it's going to bring back all that sparkle and just make everything look nice and glossy. Just make sure that when you are applying your top coat that you're avoiding getting any on the skin or the cuticles. And then once you have finished applying this, it needs to be cured for 30 seconds in a LED lamp. If you are using a UV lamp, it might need a slightly longer cure. And then once it had cured, this was the finished result. So as you can see, it gives off such a beautiful shine, and I loved how those foils looked on the clear tip. Before finishing though, I am just going to come in with a little bit of my Kiki London cuticle oil. I absolutely love this cuticle oil. So I'm going to give that a good massage, because it's going to replenish and nourish all of the cuticles. They can get a little bit dry when you're working with acrylic and filing and all that stuff. So that just gives them a nice, kind of like a nice little massage and revitalization. And then I give it a little wipe over with alcohol just so the nail wasn't looking too oily. And this is the finished result. So I really hope you all enjoyed this video. Please do let me know what you think in the comments below. I kind of did think that there was a little bit too much going on. I kind of just winged this design, but like I said, it was a lot of fun to do, so I hope it was fun to watch. If you did enjoy the video, please do give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and if you aren't already subscribed, I would absolutely love it if you hit that subscription button. If you do have any video suggestions, please do leave them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to give them a go. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.